to stop at 11 or 11:15 for questions?
At 11 works for questions, and then if there are no questions, if you have additional tips, that's great. But this is definitely one of those in which we have had a pretty good amount of questions in the past.
Okay, sounds great.
We can also see your screen. Things look good, and I will be dropping a link to the materials here in a minute in the chat. Excellent, okay. Thank you.
Well, welcome everybody to Word 365 Tips. My name is Sandy Rylander, and yes, I've been training here for a long time. I started actually teaching probably close to 30 years ago, teaching WordPerfect, Lotus, and DOS. After I graduated from UC Berkeley, I went to work for IBM for about 8 years and then started working with you guys. And Word has come a long way in all those years, and started teaching Word quite a few years ago as well, probably a good 20 plus years ago. And there's so many cool things that you can do in Word. It's hard to pick which tips you want because just about everything is a tip, right? So I tried to pick some things that hopefully you don't know about. I'm sure some of them you will. If you're worried that you missed something, know that you are going to get a document with all the tips in there. So, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask immediately. So we're just going to start with some screen tips. One of the things that I didn't know for a long time, you know, you have the tabs going across your ribbon, and I always would move my mouse to get to the different tabs, not realizing that if you point to a tab and all you do is use your scroll tool on your mouse, that it just goes from tab to tab. So you can just be in one spot and just scroll to all the different ribbon tabs. So that's a kind of a neat new, not new, but something that a lot of people didn't know about. So that goes across the top of your screen. Then another thing that you can do, just simply using your mouse and the scroll tool, is if you hold your control key down, you can zoom out or zoom in on your document. Okay, just holding your control key down and zooming. Also in the bottom right-hand corner, you have a view zoom that goes all the way down to a very like 10% view. So it gives you the ability to get an overall view. Of course, you can't see the text in the document, but it's really nice to see, well, should I have a page break here or not? Can I really fit this dialog box here? You can get a nice overview, and it's just so easy to scroll between there. And if you really want to get big, you can go all the way up to 500%, and then right in the middle is the 100%. That's the view zoom in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Then a lot of people don't realize that you can add different things to the bottom of your screen. This is called the taskbar, okay? Notice that I have section. I don't know if you use sections in your documents, but if you ever have things like headers and footers that are different, the only way to really make them different is to have sections in your document, or you may have sections in your document so you can landscape one page or something like that. So it's nice to be able to see the section. It's also nice if you're doing pleadings to be able to see how far down you are on a page, how many inches down you are on a page. And so notice when I click here at this paragraph symbol, notice that down here it says at 6.8 inches. So it's saying 6.8 inches from the top. And since legal briefs need to be at 3 inches, right, rather than you being too high, you can just click up in your document, and then down here you can see how far down the page you are. But those two things are not standard on your taskbar. They do not show when you are set up. So all you have to do to make things show that aren't showing, and this is something I teach in all my classes. If you've ever taken one of my classes in the last 20 plus years, you know that I tell you if you don't know how to do something, you should always right click on whatever you don't know how to do. So that's one thing that if you learn nothing else in this entire hour, that's going to be super beneficial to you, is that if you don't know how to do something, right click on it. So if we don't know how to add things to our taskbar, we're simply going to click with our right mouse button on the taskbar, and that shows you all the different things that you can put on it. And the ones I think are particularly useful are the section. So notice it has a check mark. So if I click on it again, it'll take the check mark away, and notice it's gone away, which I don't want. I like having it there. So I'd love to add section. I love, especially for attorneys and their support staff, I like vertical page position so that for pleadings that you can be in the right spot. And some people like to have word count. I think word count is already on there, but these are some of the things that I like to have on. Some of them are put on there automatically, and some of them you can put on yourself. Okay, but that's how easy it is. So let's look at some of the other things. The nice thing not about having section is not just so you can see what section you're in. Notice, by the way, that I have a section break here. So if I click here, it should be saying that I'm at section 2, and notice it does tell me that I'm at section 2. It makes it really nice. But the cool thing is, if you have section showing and you click on it, then it will go to the go-to, automatically bring up the go-to dialog box, which allows you to go to sections, go to bookmarks, go to footnotes, endnotes, whatever it is that you want to go to a page number, whatever it is you'd like to do. All these different things are available. And it also brings up, because it's all together, it also brings up the find and replace dialog box. So simply by clicking on section, you can get really quickly to a page in your document. You can just type in page 6 or whatever, and it'll go straight to page 6. If you click on page number down here, it will bring up something called the navigation pane. Are many of you familiar with the navigation pane? Have you used it much in the past? One of the nice things, if you're in pages, once again, you can sort of see what page you want to be on relatively quickly, and you can click on the page you want to go to, which is nice. The other thing it does is show you results. If you are actually doing a find in your document, it will show you, like, for instance, if I type in something like, well, let's just type in navigation. Notice that it shows me a little snippet of every place in my document that has the word navigation. So it's really nice. Instead of having to hit the down arrow and go from place to place like normally you would do in Find, you could just see the one that is in the text that you want, click right on it and go right to that spot. Not to mention everything is highlighted in yellow, so you can really quickly see all the different places that that word is presented. So that's a nice feature as well. But one of the things that I love about the navigation pane that I use all the time, especially if you're doing long documents and if you're using styles. Are you guys familiar with styles? Styles are just a group of formatting characteristics that are given a name. For instance, if I click in here, do you see how this says heading 1? It means it's a heading 1 style. And we've actually done trainings on styles in the past. We don't have time to do a whole training on it now, but a heading 1 style, so it has a lot of formatting characteristics. For instance, you can see, I believe that's a color blue. If I go to the home page, it's bold, it's Cambria, it's 13 point. All of those things are happening because I took all of those formatting characteristics and called it a heading 1 style. And heading 1 styles automatically allow you to, if you click on the headings tab, automatically allow you to see all of these different headings, which is an amazing way to sort of see an outline of absolutely everything you've got going on in your document. Not only is it an outline, but it is also like an online table of contents. All I have to do if I want to get to this topic is click on this topic and it takes me right to that topic. If you're with NJP and I've done your pleading programming for you, in your pleadings, all of your headings are done in heading styles. So if you have any sort of long pleadings, then all you have to do is open up this navigation pane. You'll see the different headings and just simply be able to click on them. But not only that, another super cool feature that you have with this is you can actually move any of these different sections around. So for instance, let's say I want the quick access toolbar to go below the editing document. I can, if I want, I can close this up so I'm just seeing the quick access toolbar, and I can drag it down wherever I want, let go, and that just moved that whole, it's called a family, not really a section, but a family. A family is everything from a heading and below. So this would be one family. This would be your next family. So it'll take everything in the family and move it. If you don't want to move the whole family, you can simply click on, here's Add Remove Tools, And if I want that to be under Add Tools, not on the ribbon, then I can just simply drag that one item below the other item. Okay, so this navigation pane is amazingly useful, and it goes into a lot more detail in my document, but are there any questions on using the navigation pane to get to places or to move text or copy text? No? Okay, then we'll keep on going. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that these little arrows in the bottom right-hand corner of each of your, not each of them, but of these groups on your ribbon, those are called dialog box launchers. And so if you want to do more that has to do with font or more that has to do with paragraph, if you just go to the bottom right-hand corner and click, that brings up the dialog box for you. So it gives you everything there is to do for formatting a paragraph versus just the things that they've chosen to put on the ribbon, or everything there is to do for working with fonts. Okay. Another thing a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people go to this part of their title bar to restore their screen, meaning to size it down, right? The problem is then if that goes off your screen, a lot of people feel like they need to move the screen back in order to maximize or bring it back to full size, and that's not true. Anywhere on this title bar, if you just double click on the title bar, it will automatically maximize, and double clicking also will restore. So you don't have to see that right hand tip in order to maximize or restore your document. Okay. All right. Sometimes in a document like this, you may want to go, this is considered a graphic, right? And you may want to go from graphic to graphic, or you may want to go from footnote to footnote, or whatever you want to search for these things. Another way of doing that, if you're in the navigation pane, is you can just click on the down arrow under the navigation pane, and you can click on graphics or tables or footnotes, and that will automatically, so if I say graphics, then it brings me to the next graphic. It also highlights in yellow every single heading that has a graphic in it. And now if I click my down arrow, it'll take me from graphic to graphic to graphic. So that's another way of searching for things. Okay. Okay. A lot of people may already know this, but I keep running into people that don't. So I'd like to click on File Open, and notice that I have a bunch of these documents on the top. They're the documents I use most frequently. And I just wanted everybody to see that if you want a document to stay at the top because you use it a lot, all you have to do is any of these documents on your recent list, this is considered recently used list, anything you see there that you would like to have be always available, if you hover over it, you will see a little push pin off to the right. If you click on that push pin, it will automatically put that up here with the rest of the documents that never leave your recently used list. If then you decide, you know what, I really am not using it as much anymore, you can click on the push pin again to unpush pin it, and it will drop back in the order of just being in your recent list, and it will eventually fall off. But that's a really nice way, and it's not just in Word, it's in Excel, it's in PowerPoint, all the different applications have these push pins. And the reason I like to teach it, even though some of you may have known it in the past, because you're not seeing it now unless you hover over the particular document, you may not know that it's still there, and it is. Okay. Okay. So a lot of people don't realize that search has become more than just a search. Notice when I just hover over search in the upper right-hand corner on my ribbon that it says tell me. And it used to say tell me what to do. And what it does, the cool thing about it is if you just start typing something in, by the way, notice that it shows me what I've recently searched for. But if I want to search for, let's say, how to do a footnote. I have no idea how to do a footnote. And let me click where I'd like a footnote potentially in my document. I come up here and I type in footnote. Or maybe I do know how to do a footnote, but you know, you have like 12 different tabs to choose from. I don't remember which tab it's on anymore, and I just want to do it. So if I start typing in footnote, notice the very first item on there shows a footnote, and if I click on it, notice what it's going to do from the little pop-up box. It says it's going to insert a footnote. So without you having selected the right tab or know anything about doing a footnote, all you have to do is click in your document where you wanted it, started the tell me routine, click on footnote, and notice that it automatically put a little one up in my document, superscripted, automatically put in the footnote, and let me start typing in whatever note I'd like. Okay, so this tell me feature is so nice for things that you don't do frequently, you forget how to do, and you just want it to do it for you. Okay, it's almost like somebody sitting over your shoulder trying to help you. If I want to do another footnote and still don't know what I'm doing, I can click again wherever I want the next footnote, and because it shows you what you recently did, I could just click on it again, and those things that you used recently keep appearing. Okay, so that's called tell me what you want to do. Now, let's say you don't actually want to put it in, you just want to learn more about footnotes or whatever, then down here you can go to different topics and use it more like a help if you want to do that, okay? But then what you'd want to do is you'd want to type in the full word footnote so it knows exactly what you want to do, and notice it allows you to get help on footnote, will look up anything it can about footnote on the web, so it just does a ton of different things for you, okay? We're going kind of quickly because these are pretty easy kinds of things, but does anybody have any questions so far?
No questions so far.
Okay. All right.
Oh, wait, one quick one just came in. How did you get the navigation screen again?
Okay, there's lots of different ways, but I'll show you how I did it. I did it simply by, notice down here it says page. I just clicked on page and it brought up the navigation screen. Okay, another way to bring up the navigation screen, because remember one of the navigation features is the find feature or the search feature. If you guys know your shortcut keys and know that Control F is find, that automatically brings up your navigation pane because it wants to find using navigation. So that would be another way of doing it. And then finally, on the View tab, because anytime you're trying to look for something, you're gonna find it there as well. So there's a lot of different ways of doing it, but I like either clicking on page or just doing Control F to find. Great question. Any other questions?
How did you add a flippable checkbox? Or how do you add a fillable checkbox, not flippable?
Oh, fillable. I'm like, what's a flippable checkbox?
Fillable.
So that's a good question. We aren't quite there yet. So can you table that just for a second? Now, if you're with NJP, you have it on your toolbar, a fillable, checkable and a non-checkable tool. But even if you aren't, we're going to show you how you can do that and create your own shortcut. Okay.
Okay.
So, the next thing we're going to cover, so that'll be part of.
There's another one here. What does JP stand for?
You mean NJP?
Oh,
North
sorry. Yes, that's what. Sorry. So we've got two different groups of people here. You got NJP is Northwest Justice Project. So LSNTAP is housed here at Northwest Justice Project in Seattle. So we have a few people that are attending the presentation here live or from one of our 18 offices here. And we've got about another 60 or 70 people that are throughout the country at different organizations. So NJP is Northwest Justice Project. Got it.
All right. Okay.
One more here that's directly relevant. somebody missed how to add the narrow ribbon toolbar below the standard one.
Oh, that is a brilliant segue into what I am covering right now, which is called the Quick Access Toolbar. And that's right here. This is the narrow ribbon that you're referring to. A lot of people don't even realize that it exists. And let me show you where it normally resides. It normally resides up here in the top left-hand corner. And it normally has about 3 or 4 tools on it. So nobody knows why it's there, what it is, and nobody does anything with it. And it is one of the most useful things that you can learn because you have so many different tabs now that the things that you want to use quickly, you can't use as quickly. You're just going back and forth between tabs all the time, and it changes, right? So wouldn't it be nice if the things that you use most were just always there? Or even some things maybe you don't use as often, but you don't want to have to remember where they are. You just want them available. That's what the Quick Access Toolbar was designed for. It was designed for a ribbon that was a little bit cumbersome because it had so many tabs, and this is so everybody can make their own personal, I want these tools. And it's so easy to use. Now, I was telling you normally it's above the ribbon, and I like it below the ribbon. So how do you move it? Well, the one thing I asked you to learn today was if you don't know how to do something, you're supposed to right-click on whatever you don't know how to do. So let's try it. We're going to right-click on an empty part of this Quick Access Toolbar. And do you see where it says Show Quick Access Toolbar above the ribbon? So that's where it normally is. You're probably seeing just 2 or 3 little tools that are kind of useless up here. And so in order to get it below the ribbon, which is my preference, because first of all, why would you not want the tools you use most to be as close to your document as possible? Second, when you put a lot of tools on, which I do, it means it completely smashes your document name, so you have no clue what document you're working in anymore. And fourth, this top title bar already has a lot going on, so you miss the opportunity of putting a lot more tools on. So for all those reasons, I prefer it below. So I right-click on it. That wasn't the right place. I need to find it. Here we go. And I say Show Below the Ribbon. So that's the start. Okay, so now how do I get tools onto the ribbon? A lot of people will answer, unfortunately, you're not all right here in front of me, but a lot of people will normally answer, oh, just drag them. Well, that doesn't work. I think they're afraid you're going to drag important tools off the ribbon. I don't know, but it doesn't work. So if you don't know how to get a tool on the ribbon, what would you do? Well, the one thing I asked you to learn is if you don't know how to do something, right-click on whatever you don't know how to do. So let's say that you do bullets. So you're going to right-click on the bullet tool, and you're going to say Add to Quick Access Toolbar. That's how easy it is. There it is. Then I decide, no, I really don't do bullets that much. I want it